Yo, what's good, guys? Bonfire here, back from the video, and today we're going to be hopping into another Madden 23 video. Today we're going to be running a blitz out of the nickel 3-3 formation, one of the best looping blitzes and overall blitz concepts that is in the game today. The play I'm talking about is going to be just the linebacker blitz 0 out of the nickel 3-3. Once again, this is going to come out of the 4-6 defensive playbook. It's also in the Chiefs playbook, and this is going to be a new version of the blitz. This is actually kind of a concept that I've ran out of this formation, believe it or not, for years. If you've been watching my channel, you watch like a lot of these nickel 3-3 videos, you would know that I kind of did a concept like shifting the linebackers to the left, bringing the other guy down, blitzing both those guys off the edge. But what's cool about this formation is that you can get these safeties at the linebacker position. Make sure you use them at the outside as well as your user, which will be this middle guy. I'm just using VENM, but you can use whoever you want, of course. And yeah, overall, that's all you really have to do. No other coaching adjustments or nothing. We're just going to come out in the play. Now, it's going to work against, of course, every formation. I'm going to come out in bunch. Now, one thing I will say is that it doesn't necessarily work every single play. And kind of what I mean by that is sometimes the blitz just won't come through. Sometimes two people come through. Sometimes one people come through. I'm not sure exactly the reasoning behind that. I've tried labbing it in different ways, and that's just kind of what I noticed. So first adjustments that you're going to go to are spreading your D-line. Then you're going to spread your linebackers correspondingly, just like so. Gives you a really spread out look. The next thing you're going to do is just move both these safeties down. I like to move them as compressed as they can, but moving them, if you leave them off the ball a little bit, doesn't really affect things. So your play should look like this. Then you're going to go ahead and contain. If you want, you can press. It's not necessary though. And then with your user, you can do kind of a couple of different things. I'm not sure why we were so backed off, but with your user, you can I've seen people run it like this, just straight up on the line. I've seen people run it from the right side. Generally, I'll kind of hover over here on the left. For run defense purposes, that's probably the spot you want to be in to shoot any runs, especially from that side. If it was flipped, I would probably be on the right side, but all you really need to do is snap the ball, and there it didn't come through. Again, I mentioned I don't know how to get it to come through. Maybe I have to do a little bit more with my user, but we'll set it up again, and maybe we'll press this time. I've seen people also move them like a little bit off the ball. Maybe that could be a reason. But I think it just has to do with a little bit more of the user. And there you see the looping. So that's a look of it working perfectly after you saw it didn't work the first time. So that's what I mean by a little bit inconsistent, but when it works, it's going to pay off. Maybe that was my user. Maybe that was just the positioning of moving them off the ball a little bit. That could be the key. We'll try it out together. But take a look here. With my user, I kind of just run to the left completely. I don't hate that idea. Although this is where athleticism would become a key part because you want to lurk back to the right, especially against bunch. But taking a look here, this is with 6-man protection against a 5-man rush. And actually what happens on the right side, I don't know if you noticed already, DeMarcus Lawrence is the one who gets free, not Malik Hooker, which is usually the case on that side. So get fast DNs, that's usually the case. But he's going to be the one to get free. Hooker kind of contains, but he takes the double team actually, which is what you want. You get him free, and then of course you get Donovan Wilson off that left side. So you can't really ask for a better situation than that. So we'll set it up again. Clearly, it seems like the key is kind of running it like this with these guys a little bit backed off. So we'll try that again. Although I've also ran it like that and it hasn't worked. So, just kind of trying out some stuff together. You guys will see. Let's make sure we throw Gibson on a route, but kind of snap the ball. And there you see it again happen on the right. So every time it comes free, it doesn't just happen with one player. I kind of said that in the beginning as well. It could be 0, 1, or 2. But we do get a player free once again there, and that is DeMarcus Lawrence. And you see he has decent speed in this game, and he's getting there pretty quickly. There's not a whole lot open. I mean, who are you throwing it to besides X on a deep high ball praying? Really nobody. So overall, just a really good blitz. We'll set it up again, and I might switch formations also, but seems like backing these guys off a little bit is better. I do think you want this guy in the blitzing position. You don't want him like standing up like Van Der Esch is. You kind of want him in this hovering position, one leg forward type thing like that. I think that's a little bit better. And there you see again, it actually works in a different way. This time, Malik Hooker gets kind of a true looping look. And what I mean by that is he actually loops from outside to inside. He doesn't get picked up. And although this will take a little bit slower, you're still getting a free guy. And what happened here? So I guess you just kind of contain like that. Over here on the left side, it really kind of depends on what Micah Parsons does. Sometimes he'll get a weird outside release. Sometimes, in this case, he just runs straight down. Can't do a whole lot about that, but we do get this guy coming through. Again, if they block 6, sometimes it'll be blocked. Again, it just really depends on how many people get free for you. It's kind of inconsistent, so nobody's really going to know, but try it again here. And yeah, usually I'll stand here, kind of run over. Again, you see a situation where nobody gets free. Even though nobody gets free, what should happen is you should be able to get some pressure from just the 5-man rush. And also what this is going to do is force your opponent to think a little. I know if I were to see this look, it would definitely catch my attention, if that's making any sense. I'm sure it would. From an offensive perspective, this is kind of what you're looking at. You're like, oh, great. And then you think, okay, I probably got to run the ball or something like that. Because, I mean, at least from my experience, you gotta do something with the blitz. You got to slide to the right. And there are ways to block it. Slide to the right, block this guy, ID him. A lot of players don't go through that all that extra work. If you're playing a good player, they will. But a lot of players don't go through that extra work. And you see, when you do all that IDing, it usually ends up hurting you. So that's what happened in my experience. When you try too hard to block a blitz, it seems to hurt you. Sometimes it works. But in this case, we get the double loops once again. And I mean, you can't really draw it up more, better than that. Now, let's talk about some bluff blitz stuff, because of course, if he's out of this gun bunch, if he's just going to block Y, or maybe he's just blocking everybody, blocking 6, it's picking you up, your blitz isn't working for whatever reason, that's a good opportunity. Or if he's in a formation where he can actually block 7, this is a good opportunity to bluff blitz. So you can keep contained. I probably wouldn't contain though. I would just crash up or something. And then you have these extra guys over here. I would probably press. And again, you can't press, shouldn't affect anything. So you have a couple of extra players. The first thing I would probably do is put this linebacker on Antonio Gibson. He's a little bit closer. And then you have an extra deep guy. You could throw him in a deep zone, middle zone. You could throw him in a little hook curl over here. I wouldn't mind doing something like this. If you really wanted to, you could actually, if he doesn't have an identifier, you could just maybe move this guy down. I don't know how close he gets, but something like that, and you could actually use this player. So this is really just going to allow you to use that right side, and the left side really should be taken care of. So something like this, boom, you're able to help. And again, if your man coverage is good, you should have pretty good overall or all-around coverage. Shade over the top, you can do those things as necessary. It just depends on what kind of guys you have in Ultimate Team or Regs or whatever mode you're playing. So keep that in mind. Now, as far as blitzing off of one side goes, I don't think it's too successful. We will show it though. Let's say we bring Hooker down, throw him in a little curl flat. Make sure Gibson's on a little route. And yeah, hey, actually worked. Proving me wrong. Maybe it's better just blitzing off one side. I guess we'll see. I wasn't too sure. I hadn't really tried it out, but it worked really well that time. Just blitzing 4 against a 5-man protection there. I think my user did a really good job there, but again, it really has to do with just Micah Parsons getting to the left tackle. It didn't look like he was going to, but he actually ends up getting that collision. You have the contain on the right. You can't scramble out really either. And again, really fast safety. So we'll try that again, blitzing off that left side until it doesn't work. And then I'll actually try blitzing off the other side. So again, placement-wise, we've kind of been all over the place. I think something like this is a little bit better. You don't want him super far down the line. A little bit, just like a step behind Micah, but pretty tight to him, to the right side. I mean, again, with Hooker, you could do a couple of different things. You could mid-read him, which I don't hate, getting him in that middle of the field. And there you see, Micah Parsons looked like he might have gotten free, but he fell down. So it can work. It just depends. Again, and these blitzes should work better against other formations. I also noticed that this blitz does work better in-game. So if you're running it in-game, you should see a little bit more success than something just like an offline practice mode. Of course, let's try the other side, though, with our boy Hooker. And again, bunch, you see all these compressed guys. People are getting bumped. Just some different stuff is happening. So again, different adjustments you can go to. Just play it safe, something like this. I don't hate it. Something like this, and boom, D-Law screams off the edge. Again, if you're blitzing 5, it's not getting through. What you can do is blitz 4, still have success. Actually, it is a very interesting thing that we just kind of discovered there. that maybe blitzing 4 is more effective. You know, again, it's a concept in this game, keeping things simpler. Don't you notice how you always... I switch, thank you. Sometimes you notice that you just play better when you keep things simple, and this is going to be kind of a case of that if we can get this blitz to work again, which we do. So I'm not sure why we get that pressure off the right side every time we only rush 4, but versus rushing 5, he's only coming through a certain amount of times. Who knows what the reason is, but that is very interesting. Now, the weakness is going to be the run, so I will try my best to show some run defense. It's not going to be great, but you can press. You can get a lot of these bodies down there, and this should help assist you. Now, again, if he's running it to the right, you want to kind of stand over here, try and loop to that right side. So you try and do something like this. I don't know why the computer insists on running at 5 speed, but something like that. Probably starting out even further to the left side would be helpful as well. So it just depends on how dedicated of a runner you are. I'll tell you one thing about runners that I've noticed a lot this year. They get bored. They get bored of running the ball, especially if they're picking up only 5 or less yards of carry. They're going to get tired of running the ball. No player is going to sit there and run the ball that many times if they're going on 10 or 15 plus play drives. That's something that I've noticed. So just a concept I wanted to let you guys know about. But again, off this right side, seems like when you rush 4, it's probably better to blitz off that right side. I'm not sure how this play would work flipped or if the bunch were on the other side. But let's flip. I'm going to flip my defense. These guys did not really listen to my commands, but we'll see how it turns out because it is a little bit interesting. I think probably the left side would work, but again, I'm not really sure. So you kind of start out here, and boom, we get both guys free. So maybe off that left side is actually better, but you guys have seen it work probably about, 70% of the time, if not 80. So that's going to do a video. If you guys want more coverages out of this, we could show some zone. But let me know down below what other blitzes you want to see. Subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. And follow all my links down below in the description. Peace. I'm out of here.